Hello, friends. How are we? Let's see how we're doing tonight. Always concerned, right? When we go live, is the Wi-Fi connection going to be good? Can you guys see me? Hello, hello. Happy Friday night. I'm back. I'm back, guys. So I'm just going to wait because there's a delay. Oh, I can see you. You guys are popped up here. Hello. Happy Friday. How we doing? So, if you guys didn't know, I have a cat. So what's happening right now is I'm going to sneeze. I can feel it. I can feel it coming. We were all concerned over Rich's allergies, and it's Vicki Boutin, who now has the itchiest nose in the world because the cat was down here. I'm loving my special guest tonight. There is somebody who's here with me tonight that you guys, if you show up for Vicki Boutin extravaganza weekends, or if you show up for any Friday night, this person is usually here chatting with you and will remember everybody's name and is just one of the biggest VB cheerleaders, and traveled in her car to come visit me. Say hi, my friend.
Hi, everyone.
It's Kari. Kari Kaplan is here with me in studio. I'm wearing Miffy. You noticed. It's backwards. So Natalie, guess what Miffy's covering? My lunch. So Miffy went on here so I didn't have to change my top because I might have dropped my salad on here. See what Danielle is saying? Yes, Kari is in the house. So Kari came to visit me. I took her to the watering can, which if you come to visit me, it's a must. And we went for lunch and had a wonderful time. And Kari bought me the most beautiful flowers, which I will post tomorrow to show you guys. Gorgeous. And then made us cry in the middle of the watering can. Devin and I, both of us looked at her and went, stop it. So we're going to cry in the middle of the watering can, in the middle of the watering can. Danielle, without us. She's like, without us. Yes. We'll make another visit. You just can't all stay in my house because literally there's nowhere to sleep in my house. Kari's like, I'll sleep in the car. I'm like, I can find you a spot. And I found her. I cleaned out the spare bedroom. And so she has a nice spot. And we'll go and do Niagara on the Lake tomorrow. So very nice. So hello, friends. How's everybody doing? Hello, Darina. Hi, Poppy. Hi, Carol. How are you? Hi, Cherie. How are you? Kim. Julie Ann. Hello, my ding dong. How are you, my friend? Is Irene here? Did I miss Irene? Not sure if you're here. Hello, Danielle. Very excited to be here because I took last week off. I live in an area that is full of vineyards, and it was Grape and Wine Festival last weekend. So I actually went and did social life things. I went and we went to watch a live band, and I went and played purse bingo on Friday. So I just decided I needed the weekend off, but now I'm ready tonight, and it's all I've laid it all out. I've prepped. I have my ideas. I was talking with Kari, going, so as an end user, like what do you struggle with, or what are your concerns when you're clustering? So we kind of broke down the kind of steps that I go through, and I'm going to talk to you about lots of different things. So other things I want to talk about and share. A lot of you guys have been asking about peppermint kisses when the access only is going to go up. It will go up on Monday at the latest. Maybe I'll even get it up on Sunday. But if you're already in the Peppermint Kisses event board, I have all the graphics done, and I'm going to get the info up for prep. So the cutting diagram and the written instructions, because prep is this Wednesday, and then you can do it. That's when I'll be doing it live, but then you can do it whenever. It's going to be like 9 pieces of paper. We don't have a ton of paper cutting in this. Kari just looked through the album. It's so pretty. You guys are going to love it. So yeah, we're in not even a lot of fussy cutting, some envelopes and a couple of flowers. It is going to be an incredibly enjoyable weekend event. Not that we're saying that fussy cutting makes it not fun, because, get ready. I'm going to show you a peek of something that arrived, I think on Thursday. So I have actual in my hands discover and create items, and it turned out like 100 times better than what it looks like online. I am so excited for that one. So the pre-sale for that, I'm going to be putting, because a lot of you guys will be asking, are you doing a weekend event? I am. So how that one works, when this release isn't going to ship until October, mid-October, or end of October. So that means it'll get to me probably by the end of October. We'll be kitting it for November. I don't want to ship kits during December. It is the craziest postage time of the year, and it makes me nervous that things are going to get lost. And I find that the rates really fluctuate around that time of year as well. So what my plan is that we'll get it all kitted, all ready to go, and then ship it in January. And the weekend event is going to be in February for that one. So great opportunity if somebody's looking for the best Christmas gift ever, is you can do that pre-order, and anybody can reach out to me if you're gifting it to a friend or something, and I can do a printout so you can put that in, wrap up a big box and say, look at fun to come, or we'll do something fun. So if that event pre-order, because this one, I'm going to tell you now, is going to sell out when you guys see the project completed, when you see the product. This one I think is going to be super popular, like my fall ones always are. I find those ones sell out really fast. So we're doing it early enough that hopefully if it's super popular and I need to get extra product, that I can get it before the stuff sells out, because the ephemera always sells out really fast. Papers, some papers will sell out really fast. So it's all been ordered. It will get here. We're going to kit it, but I'll put the pre-order up soon because it's already in stores as pre-orders. And then when it gets in the store, right, it just confuses the whole matter, right? It's like, when are you doing this? Whatever. So details are coming for that. That's all I have to say about that. But I'm going to show you some sneak peeks. My husband got me this kit for my birthday. I love that, Serenity. Did you notice I just looked at the light instead of the camera? So if you're like, what is she doing? She's a lazy eye. Maybe a little bit. So I will post in the group later. Okay. I'm sure there's conversation. I'll figure.
No, it's got a sticky note on her forehead that says "Mom is busy."
Mom is busy. I love it. So stop bugging me. I'm hanging out with my friends, right? Hello from Sydney, Australia. Less than 2 months now that meet you in Adelaide. So information's coming for that as well, Susan. Somebody was posting about the cruises in Australia. I'll be posting on those groups as well for our prep for the Where To next weekend we're doing there. So lots of information. That is my weekend. That's what I said when Kari's like, what are we going to be working on? She's going to be fussy cutting, and I'm going to be doing like a lot of, what would you call that? What is that kind of work?
Your prep work?
Just
no, you design?
No, you know, like what is that called? Like not paperwork, but that kind of stuff. Just I'm checking things off the list. So just if there's something I've missed or you're concerned, I'm going to be on my computer this weekend. So all of the kits for Peppermint Kisses have been shipped. So exciting stuff there. You're gonna love that class. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So tonight we are going to be playing with the black foundations paper, the Cosmic Watercolor. You will want a distressed oxide color because we're going to do stencil stamping and then use oxide ink through it, because it will be really pretty to get that chalkiness with the total glittery awesomeness of the Cosmic Watercolors. So it's going to be, we're going to do some quick technique, and then we're going to, I think I'm going to make either like embellishments or tags with clustering. And we're going to talk about how I design my product, that I design it with intention. So it works really well for clustering. And so if you're like, what's clustering? What you're talking about? When you just do kind of a gathering of pretty icons and embellishments and put your title or layer pieces. And this is great for scrapbookers, card making, really any kind of design, right? Even sometimes like I'll cluster my brooches. Miffy is the star of the show right here. She's just hanging out with her paintbrushes tonight. But it's like even how I might layer elements when I'm putting pillows on a couch. Like it's just some design elements and really leaning more towards paper crafting, right? So we're going to do that tonight because it's going to be fun. So have I missed anything? Hi, Kat and Stephen. How are you? I love that. Kevin and Stephen are watching me. I love you guys. I love the nails too, Stephen. You've been posting some beautiful admin work. That's Michelle. Help me. Admin.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing, admin work. So hello, guys. Nice to see you here. Hi, Holly. How are you? So Michelle is here. So that was one of those things, right? So for things that are coming down the pipeline is Peppermint Kisses is the first thing that's going to be happening. And that is going to be, the prep work is going to go up and access only. All of that is going to happen over the weekend. For anyone going on the, I had to watch what fingers I was putting up there because I did almost give you guys all the finger for number 3. That would have been really awesome. For the 2 cruises for Australia, because the prep is going to happen on one live YouTube link. I'm going to do it for both groups. That information I will be getting ready and posting as well and giving you a date for that. Obviously, it's a huge time difference from here to New Zealand and Australia. So I'm going to work out something that probably is not going to be ideal for everyone, but it'll be recorded and you can do it at any point. The whole idea is that we can get some of the heavy lifting done prior to getting on that lovely cruise ship, so we don't have to spend a whole bunch of time just paper cutting. I'm also going to work on the schedule of events for the cruise, so you guys can start, if you want to start booking cupcake making or whatever you want to do on the cruise ship, you kind of have an idea of how those things are going to work. And then for my friends in Australia, if you're going to be coming to Natalie May's event, I've finished that album. You guys are going to love that class. The album's done. The layouts are done. I am going to do a live to talk about that because we have a couple spots left for that. So if it's something you kind of were thinking about or on the fence, I'm going to talk to you guys and then answer any questions. So that's also coming up. And then prep for Peppermint Kisses is this Wednesday. So we'll get all that stuff set up. So if you have any questions, let me know. Just in case you're shopping for supplies. Oh, thank you. Natalie's adding the share sale links because every little bit helps. It costs you nothing. But if you're looking at anything I used tonight and you're going to go and look for it to purchase it, you just click on those links and it costs you nothing, but I get a tiny little percentage of your sales, and that helps me do these Friday night lives for you. So thank you very much. So I think that is everything. Like I told you, admin work. There's like a whole list of the things that I need to be doing. So it's good. It's all, if you've been wondering what I've been doing, that's what I've been doing. All of the things. And then design, right? Just wrapped up my spring collection. It is finished and now it's off to be manufactured. So Kari might have got a sneak peek, the first sneak peek at all of it. And it's really pretty. You guys are going to love it. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around and I want to show you one little special thing, because we save all of it for the walkthrough, right? But looks like we will need extra luggage to bring home your albums. It is, and for some of you guys that are maybe doing, because I think some might be doing the cruise and then coming to that event, those albums are freaking huge. So yes, it is the case, right? You will need more. I moved the box. So I'm going to walk away for 1 second, okay? I want to show you some little peekies. Move my light. And let's see, I can't give it all away, Cardi.
No.
I got to just show you a little peek till the big walkthrough. So make a peek of the album.
Yes, that's beautiful.
And maybe the sticker sheet. I'll do that, right? Maybe a ephemera pack. I'll just grab one. Okay. I just want you to see this so you can understand. Are you ready? So this is Discover and Create, my newest collection with American Crafts that will be shipping in late October. Are you ready? So here is a 6x12 sticker sheet. Can you guys see that? I'll take it out of the plastic. So I got some samples, but I don't have open stock paper yet. So I will do the walkthrough as soon as I get the paper. I have everything else, but I don't have, are you ready? Can you see what I'm talking about with a color for this one? Let me fix my light. Let me fix the light. There we go. I think that'll be better. I am in love. So you have like a lot of oranges, greens, grays, blacks, this periwinkle, I guess it would be the purpley blue, and great words, right? I kind of like you, daily ritual. So it's very pretty. I have to say, I love it when we do it and it's on the computer, right? But when I get to see actual product, look at, recording the details. And it's a cluster, but it's one sticker. So look at, I just wanted you guys to have, you get the first little peek of real product. Love it. Let me show you this. So I've lost things that were just in my hand. Oh, here, I found it again. Look it. So this is going to be the journaling ephemera pack. Seriously. Happiest. I'm happiest when I'm with you guys. Right? Look at the colors in this. I love, love, love. So I don't want to show too much because, you know, it's like presenting the royal baby. It all has to be done. But this gives you an idea. This is the color palette for this one. Don't you love it? What's the name? Discover plus Create. All of my collections, the one in the spring too, are going to be 2 words like that. A word plus or end. So I have them about the next 4 collections all kind of planned out. So there is a bird in here, and Natalie actually likes the bird in this collection, that black bird. It is. And people, I like birds and I like butterflies because they perch, right? When we talk about clusters, I love them because they perch. It's great for perching on a title. Love it. So look at a peek. Are you ready? Hold your hats. Look at the album. This event is going to be awesome. I'm so excited for it. So this is the album for Discover and Create. I love it. So I'll give you a little quick peek. Isn't it fun? So very excited. I will do a proper walkthrough when I have all of the stuff. I don't have it yet. I'm waiting for the open stock paper. When I do, we will do that. Can you post the link again for shopping? I'm sure Natalie can. That's on Facebook, Nat, if you see that. Is it?
It's at the top of it's in the lot.
I know. I love the album. It's great. I need a few of those albums. You know what? It'll be awesome. It'll work even if you're like, yeah, Vicki's okay, but I like this collection better. That will work with pretty much anything. So fun. Okay, I'm sitting down. I'm ready to do work now. So thank you for letting me ramble. Oh, it's been a long day. Big surprise when Kari's like, I'm going to come visit. And I'm like, and I will love that. Come, my friend, let's play. So she's over there cutting out stuff, and I'm going to do some mixed media with you. So a request was to use the new black foundations paper. So this is like the white foundations paper. It's 140 pound. It has a vellum finish, and your metallic mediums will look beautiful on here. So we are going to use this, and I'm going to do a technique or a couple on one page, and then we're going to use this as the base for our clusters. So there we go. Here we go. So I have 3 stencils. I just want something pattern wise that's pretty simple. So when we go to use this as a background, it's not going to compete, right? Kari is in the house. Kari is sitting right across from me, Dandy. Isn't that fun? I have this one, the kind of little rainbow scallops, or maybe the X and O's. So one of the techniques I'm going to do is the stencil stamping, where we're going to put some of the watercolor medium on, press it to the background, and then I'm going to put distress oxide through it. So we have that contrast of the 2 different finishes and patterns, right? So I have that. I have my Cosmic Watercolors. These are the new ones, the ones that came out with Print Shop, I think. Or did they?
No, they came out with Print Shop. Yep.
Did they? Or did these ones come out with Where to Next?
I think they came out with Print Shop.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Because you had them for a while.
But you want, I didn't hear what stencil collection this is from. These are from Where to Next, I think, all 3. This one is from Sweet Rush. I believe the X's and O's are Sweet Rush. And these were out of the 2 sets from Who Won Your Card? I have to pick it tonight, Julie. Do you want to see it finished? This is the card from my last Friday Night Live that I'm going to go tonight. And I'll post the name on the description of that last YouTube live. Isn't it pretty? And then I'm going to put it in the mail with a little gifty, right? Oh dear, I think I better check my air ticket to make sure I have the baggage allowance. Was just planning to take a carry-on to Adelaide. Yeah, no way. Never will work with me. Your kits are huge, huge, right? So I think those are the stencil packs that these are from. I'm going to get better at that, friends, because I know you guys will ask questions and sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I do not know the answer. But when we do this tonight, you need to have this set of the metallic watercolors. This set will not show up on the black as well as these ones will, because the mica that is in this is actually is the same pigment as what's in here. These ones have like a ink color, which is transparent with a silvery mica in it. So the only kind of color you're going to get on that will be silvery mica, because the pigment in here is transparent or translucent. So it will just get soaked up by black, right? So I just want you to know, if you have this set, they will work on the black, but these will work 100 times better. Okay. So set I'm going to use. And then the two Oxide colors I'm going to go with are going to be Speckled Egg and Saltwater Taffy. And I'll tell you why. Is I'm going to use probably these two colors for the most part, the copper and the gold. And then I'm going to use this as a contrast. And then this one's almost going to be a tone on tone with whatever I end up using, if that makes sense. The other thing that you will need is some water in your mister. And then I have a cup of water, some paper towels, and wipes. I also grabbed, because you know I like to play with the plastic cups, because maybe we can do some accents with the cups, do some rings on the background with one of the other accent colors. Then the other thing that I gathered, and you can use whatever you like. If you're a stamper, you can, and you have some stamps that are stamped. I have some ephemera to talk about layering and even how I design my products, right? And with with intention. I design them with intention so that there are linear aspects, there's different shapes, different scales, and then it's kind of how I put it all together to make pretty backgrounds, right? Or pretty clusters. I love using cups for rings. Me too, Keisha, or anything that's round. It could be, back in the day, it would have been my film canisters, right? Or lids, plastic lids, like anything that's round, anything. Just kind of look around you in your craft room, and even like you could use your can, your pop can, maybe clean it first so you don't dump pop all over everything. But anything that kind of has, that will make an impression, you could totally use. Okay, so let's get started. So this is a wet technique. That's why you need the water. I find to get these started, I like to just, you can use your paintbrush or your mister and just put a little bit of water in here. These are absolutely packed with pigment. Awesome product. Sometimes, you know, my products, I'll be like, oh, we can do fun things with them. They're inexpensive, you know, they're okay. It's all right. It does good things. I love these. These are those things that I'd say, like, before they're gone, get yourself another set. If you like to do gold drips and drops or metallic specks and paint splats, this right here looks like, when it dries, it almost looks like you embossed it with gold embossing powder. That's how much pigment's in it. And I want to prove my point. I had layouts around here.
Did you put more in the pile?
No, I'm a liar. They're at the studio because I was writing instructions for it. But we did it last week, right? See the gold dots on the back of this card? Can you see them? That is from the metallic watercolors, right? They're magic. So that was from these ones. That was this gold. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't get a gold ink that has that much pigment in it. So really, you know, I'll leave things up and I'm like, buy whatever you want. I'm certainly not going to force you to do it. But I will tell you, even if you watch what I do tonight, you're like, yeah, that's not my jam. I don't want to do that. But you're like, ooh, I love gold drips. This would be awesome, right? Happy birthday, Owen. 12, man. Look at, that's a great age. So happy birthday, my friend. I hope you have a wonderful birthday and eat lots and lots of cake if you like cake. If not, if you like ice cream, eat all of the things that you like. I hope you get spoiled rotten and that mom is good to you. So happy birthday. Okay. So I think I explained the things. Let's do something. So we're going to start. I'm going to do the stencil stamping because I've done a couple of videos using these. So I'm not going to give you all the ins and outs and test them on the background. Let's just get right into it. So I am going to do for the stencil stamping, I'm going to go in, I think, with the copper. I'm going to go in with the copper. So I'm going to use some water. Move it closer so I'm not dripping it all over. Any questions before we get started? That might be helpful. Look at you, Vicki, the card maker. I know. Holy crap. Can I show you another one while we're talking? Because you know it's Friday. I can just talk about all the things. So do you remember when we did gel plate printing and I was just using scraps? Can I tell you that this is one of my favorite cards ever? Look how simple this is. So we use the hearts and the dies to cut these out of just pink. But can you see the texture on this? We just put it through an embossing folder. Seriously. So that texture looks like it's debossed, which it is. And that is literally from scraps or cleanup sheets from my gel plate. So your cards, right, can be the simplest thing that still have huge impact. Don't you agree, Kari? Look at that one.
Beautiful.
Isn't that?
I love that.
I love that card.
The combination of
yeah,
colors
with the orange and the reds. Is there a right side? Yes, usually here, and you can actually see it a little bit more on the black. So this has a vellum finish. So can you see the front side kind of has a shine? I don't know why my phone is like, see, it's the colors blowing out the light. So just I'll have to watch what I'm doing here. It usually doesn't do that, but it is. So it's a little shinier on the front and it's a little duller on the back. Can you see it? Look at your sheet and you'll see it. Remember, like I told you guys before with a white, it is not a huge difference, but some mediums will really react differently on the front and the back. So the other thing that I do, because when you tear your strip off, it's hard to see. So I leave my strip on.
Yep.
And you can feel the front and the back with the perforations, what the front and the back is. Usually you can feel it with your finger. Okay. And I tore it right out, but look at the front looks like it's really has that zigzag on it. And then the back has hardly anything with the black. On the white one, you can feel it. Because I'm going to tell you, the black paper doesn't naturally occur. There's dye in this, right? To make black paper, they had to create the black paper. So if you said, is this exactly the same as white foundations? I would say absolutely not. The white foundations, I feel, has a little bit more weight to it. But the biggest thing with finding this paper is to find one that when we put water on it, it didn't leach black or blue or whatever color they used to make this, gray. So that was my biggest thing when the paper, I didn't want it to buckle a ton. Like it's going to buckle a little. It's not a canvas, right? Or something stretched. It's still a loose piece of paper that's fibrous and absorbs water, but it will buckle less. And if you let it dry on its own, it usually will dry pretty flat, right? Will it make a difference on pigment if you use matte or the sheen side? It depends on the medium you're using. Like I said, it's only a slight difference, but the front side has more of that vellum coating, like that sizing or whatever they put on paper to make it release probably when it's pressed. So it's something magically we just discover as we're making art that like, ooh, it's almost like the paper is gessoed. That's what you have to think with the vellum finish makes it resistant. So your medium sit on top instead of being absorbed right in. And here's how you test this on your own. Take a piece of cardstock, black cardstock, and do your technique on that. And then do it on foundations paper. And that is probably the best selling feature of like why you need one over the other. Because if you're using just cardstock, your medium all gets sucked in. So it's not as vibrant, the finish. It buckles. it just looks different. And when you notice that is if you were using cardstock, because you're like, I don't have this black foundations paper. I'm just going to use what I have at home, which, you know, I'm totally on board with. Do the things. But if you're like, my results don't look the same, I don't understand why I'm not getting the same results. It's because your foundation or the medium that you're using is different. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful, right? That's helpful. So I am going to take this palette and I'm going to paint pigment on to start. So do you see what I'm saying? Look at that. Like that's a ton of pigment in there, right? So when you go to do, oh, Kari, will you grab me that album that I was showing you out of the bag? This is a good opportunity. So when any of my friends that are coming to the event with Natalie May in Adelaide, that's where I'm going, right? This is the album that we're doing. Love it. And it is a mix of, it is called like the best of Vicki Boutin. So I use a whole bunch of collections. I think 4 different collections in here and mixed it. Why I want to show you this. Do you see the hello? Do you see the gold on there? It is from it's the gold out of this. And all I did is took a wet paintbrush and painted it on. Right? Could you use it crayons instead? No. I'm going to say no. I don't think they're going to really show up on the black because they are not chalky. They don't like this is going to show up on black because it is sparkly mica. It is opaque. The pigment is opaque, right? You could use it if you want to do this exact same thing I'm doing, Sylvia, do it on white foundations paper. And yes, you could use your crayons. 100% good, right? So, but look at that. I just want to show you the versatility. Does that not look like I use some kind of awesome gold paint or a wax, right? Or embossed it? No. So the point I'm saying is see how much pigment is in here? It's on top of black and it totally shows up on that layer. So there's another use for it on the chipboard, right? I know this album. I know Melissa and some of you guys are mad because it's only going to be there. I don't have kits for here, but it's a fun one, right? Thank you. Kari's like, where is this from? Kari wanted it too. She goes, where did you use this from? I'm like, it's from Color Kaleidoscope. So you're not even going to find it, right? But yeah, it's a fun one. But like I said, discover and create. That one, if you guys love, like, I just feel like that one is a culmination of all the things I've learned doing collections. So when that one comes out, that's the one you're not going to want to miss. I really believe that. Not blowing smoke. Okay, so what we're doing, the whole idea here now is I'm going to try to get this medium on the background of this stencil. That is a plastic stencil that, you know, this medium could just kind of sit there and bead up. So what we're trying to do is deposit some pigment on here. Oops, I'm going to get more on Miffy, just so you know, or I just flung that across on Kari's face. Because I just got my, what do you call this? Paintbrush stuck. So I'm not going to cover the whole thing. This is just going to be kind of a loose loveliness, okay? So get your pigment down, and then I'm going to give it one light mist with water just so we can make sure it's going to actually transfer onto the paper, if that makes sense. Let's do a little bit up there too, okay? So I'm going to take this off screen and just, well, we'll just move this so you guys can see. Here we go. So like a light mist, okay? Just so it's flowing around. So what do we want to do now? This is stencil stamping, I call. This is a Vicki thing, right? We're going to put that down. We're not going to lift this off. I'm going to take a paper towel, right? I'm going to press into there. And now I'm going to put my Oxide ink through here. So it's sitting there doing its magic in the background. And I'm going to use speckled egg to contrast with this copper color. I'm using Oxide because Distress ink is not going to show up on black. Oxide is a combo ink, right? It's a hybrid ink that has a chalkiness to it. So it is going to do magical things. I'm going to tell you, I do not want to take, I'm going to get lots of ink on here because I am not going to ink on my pad again unless I clean my dabber off a little bit, because I'm going to be picking up all this metallic. I don't want to contaminate that pad. Okay. So now we're going to go in a circular motion. Oh my goodness. Look at that already. Right now, you know, it has a vellum finish. I can see those swirls in here. So I'm going to deposit the ink, but I want to blend out those swirls a bit. That's why. So here, there's a little lesson I just taught you. Do you see how the ink is still moving around? It's because it's sitting on that vellum finish. Why the mediums sit on top and don't sink in. But you don't want to have, well, maybe you want them. I don't want them. I don't want to have the swirly in here. So after I deposit my ink, I'm going to go in and just tap pattern. So it's like stippled now instead of swirls. Okay, you ready for the reveal? Either it turned out or it didn't at all. And that's why we play on Friday nights. Okay. Look at that.
Oh, pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
That's gorgeous.
So I'm going to dry this first. I'm going to dry it first, and then see how it's perfect. The speckled egg in here. I'm not going to leave it like that, but I want to set what is there, and then I'm going to mist it or flick some water on it because I want to lift some of that off. But I want this to be dried in the background. Kari has not been to the studio yet, Nat. That is tomorrow. So I'm just setting the wet coppery stuff, right? Look how pretty. Can you see that? Look how pretty that is, right? But it's too perfect for me. So I just want to lift or add a little bit of watermarking into my distress ink now. So we're just going to tap and just make it not perfect. Right? Like really in art, it's not perfect. Like your face is not all symmetrical. If you look, think about it, because my daughter will talk about it. One eye is bigger than the other, whatever. Really, if you're looking for like a face an artist would want the face that's not perfect, because it's more interesting, right? So even on here, I don't want it to be too perfect. Oh, I love that. Look at it. So now, just by adding water, because that's the magic with distress ink, right, is that it's water reactive, is we're just taking some of that pigment away. And now look what happens. We have, this is actually would be fun for Halloween too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You could almost like make little mini pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
Like your eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Yes, Melissa. He loves cake. I love that. I love that the birthday boy's going to have cake. Eat the cake. So do you see how the pigment left the copper? And at first you couldn't see much copper, but now look at it. It's because the water, the moisture left. I didn't say the pigment. What I meant to say is the moisture left, and now we're only left with that lovely pigment. So we can go in here, right? And you could fake it if you're like, I wish there was a little bit more copper. You could paint a little bit more in there, right? Just deposit it. Or what's way easier is let's put a couple drips of it on, right? So now this is all layer, 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 right? Let's build, take away, put a little bit more on, not make it totally perfect. Spray it on your friend across the table.
Looks like it's glowing.
I love it. But that's the oxide on the black, right?
Yep. So pretty.
So there, if you're like, look it, you know, I love Tim Holtz. I love Ranger. I will use distress ink in all distress products. Dina Wakley's products, Diane Reevely, Simon Hurley. I will love them because I think Ranger just does a great job with mixed media. And like Melissa said, we're not twins. We're sisters or brothers or a family of mixed media, right? So Brutus Monroe, wherever you're buying them. So I do mixed media, but a lot of my mixed media art is using other people's products because I work with a company that predominantly is going to be paper crafts, right? And then just the things that I need to introduce. Do I need to come out with a copy of Distress ink? No, I have a perfectly wonderful product I can use. So, and the other thing is I find that, like somebody just said, what are your favorite online? What is your favorite Oxide color? And I would say all of them. But what I would start with is like maybe mustard seed or fossilized amber. I would add in a couple of blues, a couple of greens. Like you want the colors that will work beautifully together. Here's the other thing that you're going to find with a Distress ink will blend to make secondary and tertiary colors. Oxide doesn't as much. Have you noticed? They don't blend as well, just the nature of the inks. So that's why when you're like, do I only need Oxide or only regular Distress? And I'd say for technique, to be honest with you, I lean way heavier in regular Distress, but for stamping, for dark backgrounds, is more Oxide. But if you said to me, what's your favorite? If I had to pick one or the other, I would go with regular Distress just because it's what I use more often. But I'd be really sad because I don't want to pick. You can't pick when you have two favorites, right? So I love that. So there is now, look at how pretty that is, friends. And any one of you out there could do that. There was nothing that was difficult with that one, right? Super simple technique. And that will be one of the backgrounds when we're layering some ephemera. Now we're going to do one that's kind of a little bit more, like I would not waste this either, right? If you're at home crafting, just do the kissing technique, put it on a card background, or you could stamp on top of it or do something later. Why wipe it off and throw it away on a paper towel, right? And then if you see, I got those lines in there and maybe I don't love that so much, just tap some water in it, break it up, or tap into it, swirl it out a little bit, right? But when I dry this, I could die cut out of it. I could use it for a background and heat emboss on it with, like, for my card makers out there, is I could totally go in with a flower or butterflies or anything, right? Pumpkin, wouldn't that be great for Halloween? Right? If you're into that. I know not everybody, right? I laugh because I know my American friends are huge into Halloween. I don't think it's as big in Canada. We definitely do. The parties but I know that people will be like, Vicki, you need to do a Halloween line. And I'm like, well, one, it's hard now because my kids are older. So I would rather do a fall line that has Halloween elements in it. So if I ever am allowed to do a small collection, like the kind of in between collections, I would love to do one that is fall themed, but still would work with my friends who maybe live in places that don't have fall, right? I love how oxides and regular Distress inks work together. Me too, Steve. And then that's what I'd say. I'm not telling you need both because I want you to spend all your money, because really I've got no skin in the game, right? It doesn't in any way benefit me. I tell you as your friend that yes, you need those. Like if we're shopping for shoes and you're like, I bought the black ones, but do I need the hot pink ones? I'm like, yes, of course you need both of them. If they fit and they look great, you need all of the things. So I guess as your friendly neighborhood mixed media paper crafter, I would just say, yeah, I feel like the investment is valid. And that's what you can tell your significant other or whoever. I bought 4 new Distress ink colors because Vicki told me it's an investment and I need to buy them. This is her email address if you have an issue with it. And I will back you, my friend. I will back you. Okay, I love this stencil. We're going to do it again. And I'm going to use the gold, but then I'm going to use saltwater taffy. So it's going to be more subtle. And I have a hard time with subtle, right? What metallic paint are you using? Do I have one in a package? Yes, I do. That never happens. I'm telling you, and this is one of those things, with American Crafts, it's one and done. These are the things that you're going to want to buy more than one of. And again, it's not because I want you to buy it because my name is on it. I feel like as your remember, your friendly neighborhood paper crafter mixed media artist, is because it's worth it. Your neighbor. Yeah. Like a good neighbor, Vicki Boutin is there. So Cosmic Watercolor, it's my product with American Crafts. But this is Hidden Gems. This is the one that has the pigment is the same as the colors you see. I love it too, right? I love it on here. Halloween is huge. Yeah, I know. And it like we actually get 2 kids at our house. Just so you know, 2. Oh. We get 2.
You have a sidewalk up there.
We do, but we're on a busy street. There's a park across the street. So really, if you're trying to hit as many houses as possible, this is not the house you want to come to, because you have and we have a lot of people who don't even put their lights on. Right? So just because we don't go, oh my goodness, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that antique gold. Okay, so isn't that good? With the saltwater taffy, we're almost going to be making like rose gold, right? You want to set on the last cruise. Woohoo! Didn't realize it at first. I love that, Cindy. Yay. Okay, so we're going to paint this, and we're going to do the same technique. But I'm not going to do the whole thing. I want this to be kind of plinko. We're going to do kind of, well, and you guys are only going to know that if you watch Price is Right. Right? So you're putting your little disc in, and it's just kind of going do 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 do. That plinko, and what's the guy who goes up the mountain? Do 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 do. I don't know, what is that game? Loved that mountain climber, and then you guess the prices, and then you hope he doesn't fall off the mountain.
Exactly.
So let's get as much on here as we can. Yes, I love this too, I have to say, right? The Yodeler, right? That's the show I would watch with my grandma if I was sick and she was babysitting me because I was home and parents had to work, right? Child of the 70s, man. There was a lot of latchkeying and taking care of yourself. So we were doing that. It was that and soap operas, right? With grandma.
Yes. Yep.
So we would watch, she watched Guiding Light, As the World Turns, Capital, and Young and the Restless. That's what I watched with my grandma. So we were not a General Hospital.
One Life to Live.
No. And people were very loyal to whatever channel. So we watched whatever channel 4 was. What was that? CBS, I think.
I can't remember which one was ABC and CBS.
ABC was General Hospital. CBS, yeah, right. So there was no messing around. All my children, no, Evelyn, that was not happening with my grandma. We watched Guiding Light. Right, As the World, like, no, that was Days of Our Lives, like Sands Through the Hourglass. Yes, those are the days of our lives. Yeah. I love it. Okay. No Days of Our Lives. No. Like I'm telling you. And look, I wasn't picking. And then as I got older, the only thing I think I watched, I'm just going to buff that off a little bit. Only thing I watched was Young and the Restless. But I knew about Luke and Laura and all the rest of the things that were going on back in the day.
You could pick it up 5 years later. And
yeah.
The characters
are still the same, just a little older, man. They might have died and came back 3 or 4 times. But
or alien abduction.
Edge of the Night was your mom and grandma's. I love it. Another World. Yeah, I love that. Hi, Pam. Hi, Irene. You watched Another World? No, I'm telling you that I did not watch anything else. That's all you watched. So let's see how this is going to work, right? With that copper, with trying to go in with a warm tone where we contrasted with, right, a cool tone and a warm tone on this side. So I am going to just kind of follow. Oh, I forgot, we were plinkoing and I just went a little hog wild here. So let's see. Okay, a little bit more. It's not transferring, so I'm good. A little darker in here. And then remember, because we're depositing this pigment on black, Let's press some color in here. So I don't know. I have not tested this. I have not done it before. It was just a, let's do it tonight, right? So let's see what the reveal. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love it. It's almost like disco. Like it makes me feel like this is like night at the, Studio 54. Yeah. This is the vibe of this. Ready? Dark shadows. I never watched it, but wasn't that the vampire one? Can you see it? Ooh. Now, it's not really showing up on the camera. Let's try this. Oh my goodness, I love this so much.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
I do not think I'll do watermark. It's unplugged. I pulled it out. Just a second. Oh my goodness, and I am not going to watermark that pink. So pretty. So see, now the moisture leaves the pigment. I get this vibrant, gorgeous antique gold. Or maybe this is 80s. This might be a little Don Johnson even, right? Do you remember like wallpaper? My mom, we wallpapered everything with like textured foiled wallpaper. So maybe this might have been on the wall at your favorite Chinese restaurant. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. You ready? I'm hoping you guys can see that. Look at that. Look at that. Is it translating? Can they see it?
So pretty.
Seriously. Oh my goodness, I love that so much. Can you see that? I'm going to do one more application here with less. I want less ink this time. Okay. So here's the whole thing, right? Because gold to me is a lot of times it's like a special guest star. Remember we talk about the star of the show, the supporting cast, the ensemble cast. To me is the gold is the special guest star. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be center stage, but it is going to upstage everything. So I wouldn't do a whole metallic background because to me it's too much, right? And it's very reflective. So it can be distracting. But when we put it here, where we've used way more of the Oxide ink, and it really is what shows up in the pattern, but the gold is the special guest star, right? I love that. I think that's a good way. That these are Vickyisms, right? Is how to explain. And I feel like, so now this is going to be cool. So there's already, I'm not cleaning my stencil. So there's Oxide on the back. Let's see when we put water, if some of that Oxide blends in. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just do it. Oh my goodness. I love it so much. So we're going to put some more on here. Going to go in with that gold. And here's the point I'm making is you're going to go through these. That's why when I'm not trying to be super bossy, when I say you're going to want them, because if you're using it, because you could paint a stamped image and all the rest, but remember with it having the opacity that it does, you might want to heat emboss black or some kind of embossing powder before you paint. Because if I were to just paint these onto stamped image anywhere the black ink is, you'd cover it because they're completely opaque, right? So I want to do some things because I can, right? If we can. I'm going to put this down, right? I'm going to mist a little bit through it. I am going to see if I have a scrap piece of paper, because to me, we waste this on paper towel. Okay, I'm going to grab one that's a little bit more porous. Grab a porous white piece of paper you've got. Yeah. You want one? Oh, look at it, I have a card base.
Ooh, even better.
Even better. Remember, I prepped this card base. So how does a card opens like this? Okay, so I'm going to press this on here. And then sandwich it. I might even brayer it to force all that pigment out of it. Okay, let's see what we get. Just instead of wasting it on your paper towel, let's see what we can get to transfer. Okay, here's the.
Ooh.
So the pink in there, we just made rose gold because that is the already existing oxide that was on the stencil. Do you see that?
It's pretty.
Oh, I love it. Can you see?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's very pretty. Okay, so let's see what we got on our, oh, no. I'm going to put a little bit of this, but not much. Ooh. Okay, changing my mind. So, you know what I'm going to put through here is I'm not even going to clean this. And I'm going to take some of that copper and mix it in with the gold. I'm going to load it up on my ink blending tool. It's very wet though, so be careful. And that's what I'm going to put through some of these areas. Maybe pounce it. Because wet, we rub it on here. What are we going to get? We're going to peel the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So even though it is a foundations, let's just do it. Because, right, we're going to just clean this all up with a paper towel. Well, what happens if we do something else with it? Maybe nothing. It might be ugly. Or it might be really pretty. Okay. So let's dry. For me, this is my favorite part.
Yeah.
That is freaking beautiful. Can you see that with the copper in there? Oh, and that's from a dirty stencil. We got that from a dirty stencil. So you're not going to have the crispness. So this is why, like, right, this is not going to be as crisp because it was a wet blending tool. It pushes underneath the stencil. You want something really crisp and defined. It's with the Oxide ink because it's wet, but it's not as wet as using watercolor, right? So love that. So those are some ideas using your, what are these called? Cosmic watercolors and Oxide. And now I'm going to cut these out and we're going to do some layered business.
Oh, so beautiful.
Love it.
So pretty.
Okay. So what am I going to do first? Because this is how I roll. I'm going to clean my stencil. So like I'm saying, you could clean this by sandwiching it between two pieces of cardstock and just use it for something else. Are we good? You guys can still see me, right? Because I know you get working, and then when I don't see any comments come up, it makes me nervous that I'm not actually even on here anymore. My mister's almost empty. But thank you. I can see. I am not talking just to me and Kari. Be a great conversation. You could boss Kari. She actually offered without you even saying that. I'll give you that one too.
Okay.
There you go. And there's wipes.
No, I'm just going to go right here. Can't I go right here?
Yes. Kari's going to use the sink, but in typical Vicki fashion, I have empty pop cans in it right now.
We're all good.
You're making some soup for your soul. I love that, Cindy.
It's definitely soup weather.
I think she meant, I don't know if she meant soup or she's making art soup for her soul.
Oh.
But it is soup weather. Here is not so much because it's going to be
That's true.
30 degrees
That's true.
Celsius next week. We are in heat wave, a tropical heat wave. So today was, it was very nice out there. Devin said, because she came up for lunch with Kari and I, and she's like, Mom, what's the weather? Like, how should I dress? I'm like, dude, it's hot out here. Oh, she's making real soup. She has a cold, right? She means art. So Natalie thought she meant art. I thought she meant art. And Cindy's like, no, it's real soup. She's got a cold.
All right. These are good.
We had soup today. Kari had some kind of roasted pepper one, and I had parsnip and apple. So I would have to say mine was just okay. The concept was good, but it was just okay. I can say I'm glad I did it, but Devin was like, I'm not really sure how to feel about this soup because it's sweet. I'm like, it's the apple. Right?
Cindy doesn't like, ew, parsnip, yuck.
It was actually, though,
It was
you couldn't,
okay.
right? I couldn't really
Yeah,
taste
no,
that.
it was fine.
Yeah. So interesting, though, right?
Dawn had frost.
No, we do not have frost here.
Yeah.
You could have shorts and
Beautiful.
right? It's pausing here too. What my video is? Where are you saying that? My internet connection is terrible today all day. It could be mine too, but I'm working on that, friends. I'm working on it. I don't know if it's going to help for Friday nights, but for our weekend events, when I have my new space set up, right? We're in the middle of summer here in Canada. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's going to be crazy. So we're going to do some clusters. So I'm going to make these that as they could be a tag, if that made any kind of sense at all. Do you like that? As they could be?
There's been no wine yet.
Whatever, lady. As they could be. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. Maybe even 3/4 of the time. So remember my trick too. If you have a mink or a, what are those things called? Laminator. That if you want to make sure this is nice and flat, you could run it through that. But because it's wet right now, I would put like paper towels or something in it to soak the moisture. Okay, because you think you put it, in a plastic sheet. So all that moisture and the heat, so it almost gets soupy inside. So sometimes when they're this wet, but mine, look it, it's good paper. See?
Yeah.
It's not super buckly, but this wasn't a super wet technique either, right? The buckliest one, the mostest buckliest, is the bottom in this one where we kissed it. But look at, do you see that cosmic loveliness?
It's beautiful.
Right?
It almost looks like it's glowing.
Can I show you something before? One more thing.
Yes.
So remember where we just kind of kissed it on the bottom? Let's get a simple background stamp. So walking away for a moment. What I would love right now, if I could find it, is just found it. Polka dots. Polka dots. Okay. And we could go in. I'm not going to get a new ink. Let's just go in. I'll go in with the speckled egg. And remove some of it so it's not all. Let's see what happens if we wanted to put a layer over top. What's that?
We're talking about parsnips.
Yeah, parsnip chips. I love it in those veggie chips.
I just asked Natalie how she roasts parsnips. Those would be yummy.
See that?
Ooh, that's pretty.
Do you see that? On the metallic. I love that. Hello, Natalie May. Book in to see Vicki in Australia. Yep, I will be there. There are only a few spots left. And I'm telling you, you're not going to be disappointed. It's going to be a lot of fun. The projects, and you actually, one of these, I don't remember which one I sent. One of these is included in your class kit. This is like, ooh, I just gave it away. It's a special gift. So everybody will get a set of that. If you guys are coming to that class, I make sure that you guys get spoiled. So very exciting. It's going to be good. I think you should just fly into Adelaide and come.
What's that old work thing? It's just a pain in the neck.
I know. It's just not fun, right?
Stands in the way of crafting.
So I'm just going to give that a dry, but I love that. Look at, so we just had that where we just clean the dirty, sheet off, the leftover, and then look at how the oxides sit on top of the ink too.
Yeah.
So love that. Okay, so we can use that. That could be, look at a background for a card, right? And you see that big pool that just dripped while I was working? That probably will rub off. There's so much there that, watch, I'm going to take some of that. I knew it would. I'm like, that's too much. Too much. So there. It will just sit there because you don't have like a binder, like something that makes it all stick together when it's a big pool like that. So look at this, could be like a whole page in a mini album, probably a 6x8 page if you wanted to. So we can cluster on that like it's going to be that. I don't know what size it is. I'm just eyeballing it, but we could leave that as a full piece. Almost. It's a little wonk. Take some off the side. Right? So this could go on a layout. You could actually cluster in the corner and a photo could go on there, or a title. We have this piece that could be for a card, right? The background for a card, or you could die cut out of any of these. But because we talked about clustering, and I keep talking about clustering, and I haven't clustered yet, we will cluster. Yes, I had soup today. That was parsnip and apple. But like I said, it was good, but it wasn't super flavorful, I would say, right, Kari?
No, not as much as the
roasted pepper
had more flavor.
But Vicki does not do peppers. And Devin even went to Kari. She's not allowed to have any of that. Because it will hurt her stomach.
And she will be sad.
And then I have to listen to it. So she is not allowed to have any. And I'm like, you're good, Dev. I don't eat the peppers at all.
It was yummy, though.
Right? I don't even have those moments of, I think I'll try the peppers. I go, nope, not doing the peppers. Do you want me to make a tag out of this one, friends? Like I'll cut it into a tag shape? Why not?
Yes, please.
Right? Natalie's putting words out that I've never heard out there. Pozole? Is that, how do you say that? Pozole? Pozulu? How do you say that word?
I made it. It's shredded pork, hominy, and veg. It's a soup. Yummy, yummy.
Yummy, yummy. I just would like to know how to
say it.
Pronunciate that. Pozzoli? Pozole? Oh, this is going to be a pretty tag, right? So I will eyeball a corner. And then do the same on this side. Amazing soup.
Pozole.
Is everything you are working with now in a kit? It is not. It is not. This isn't. But really, I know that's tricky, right? Because I'm like, any stamps, any stencils will work. Really the key here, if you're like, so what do I need out of the things that you're having there? If I was going to go and use the links on scrapbook.com or Cherry on Top, you want the foundations paper, you want the watercolor, the cosmic watercolor, and you want distress oxide ink. And then any stamp stencils you could totally do, right? Pozole. Thank you. Pozole. That's pozole. Did you know that?
No. Although I need a recipe. Sounds yummy.
Okay. So now now that we've cut it down, look how pretty that background is, right? Just to make it for a tag. It's a giant tag. This could be, well, what size? I don't have a ruler. So let's try to figure out for a card. Well, would it fit? This is a 5x7. Totally would fit. I could totally use this. Okay. So whatever that is, smaller than a 5. And right, we had this background too. Now this for sure I need to let dry because it was very wet. So it's buckly because this is just a regular old piece of cardstock. Hi, Karen. How are you? Pozole is the soup you eat to kill a hangover in Mexico.
Okay.
I'll have to remember that next time we go to Mexico. I'll be walking around. Can I have am I saying it right? Pozole?
I think so.
I would like
delicious.
some pozole. because I drank the tequila. I love it. Okay. Here we go. So, clustering. Things that would come into play when I'm going to cluster my artwork would be theme. I'd be considering what the theme is. Scale. Title, maybe. Color. Texture. So those are the things that really would come into play when I am thinking about clustering. So when I create my ephemera packs or my art, it's always done with intention. It's no different. Color comes into play. So whatever our color palette is, scale. So I'll have large pieces and then you'll have smaller pieces, right? This one has, I can't just pick an ephemera. Well, there's a smaller piece, right? You have big pieces, smaller pieces. Then you will have titles, like things that you can use as title, things that are going to be linear. So I will have things that go in a strip so they could layer underneath things. You have titles that'll be in different sizes. Some will be in script. Some will be like in a really solid font. And then other things that will be on here are things that will house things. So a label, a tag, a circle, something that I could then take. It's with intention, my friends. So when you go and you purchase ephemera packs and maybe you bought the sticker book and you bought the 6x12 sticker and you're like, do I need all of it? Usually the answer is yes, because I will put stickers that are the right scale to fit in your little tabs. I will put subtitles to a big one. So you would have beautiful, and maybe on the sticker sheet, it would say a day like today. So I like always, almost always with a title has a subtitle sticker or some kind of little phrase or sentence that goes with it. So because this comes from my brain, it really is set up with how I want to create. And then it's just a good thing that you guys like it too, and you're here and you buy the things, right? But it's all done with intention, like right down to like this, right? I have something that will work as a flag banner, which is a great cluster in an empty corner on a layout. So I could take one of these words, cut out a couple strips of pattern paper, maybe layer some hearts and stars, and there I have a little flag banner cluster. That is something I use often. You'll see probably every project I make, if you make with me, is going to have a flag banner cluster that is either going vertically or horizontally, maybe under a title or off the corner of a page or off the side of a photo. So everything is created literally with intention. And I'll tell you, if we had Melissa on here, who is who I work with at American Crafts, she is like a graphic design awesome aficionado. She'll design the things. We'll have planned, done all the things. I art directed all. And then I will change things like multiple times, but not to drive her crazy. It's with intention. So even when you guys sit down to cluster, you cluster with intention. Like, what are you looking at? What is the theme of your page, right? One of the other things is the same or similar style of an icon. So if I'm going to cluster butterflies, do you notice on my collections, there'll be different scales of things, right? So we wouldn't put all the same size of butterflies. You might have one size of butterflies in the ephemera pack, but then on a sticker sheet, you'll have different sizes, colors. So even though the art might be the same, and maybe that's the style of the butterfly, there'll be orange butterflies, there'll be yellow butterflies, there'll be blue butterflies, so that one, it's worth, you feel like the dollars you're investing, you're getting the return, right? So it's not all the same thing everywhere. And then also how you would use it scale wise, right? So flowers are a big thing. Like, so some of you guys don't like the birds, you don't like the butterflies, but then you probably aren't going to like my collections because there's always going to be some kind of there always will be a butterfly, because now it's my thing. It's the Vicki Boutin thing. Is it could be a Halloween line and I would do Dracula butterflies or something. Like, it would be in there, right? So let's talk like a floral, right? This one is going to be a hard collection because it's travel themed. So there are not multiples of the same thing. There's lots of different freaking things. So let's say we're clustering and we have like a background that's like a clipboard, right? So I might cluster my little flowers, right, where I want to fit them on here. One for sure out of this set is going to be popped up. I always am going to use when I'm clustering, and you're like, how do you come up with your clusters? What are your ideas? One of the biggest things will be you have to have dimension in there. To layer them and to have things sit on top and stand apart from the other elements, you need foam dots. I wouldn't use glue dots. I'm going to tell you now. A long time ago, I learned the hard way when I sent a project in back in the day to Better Homes and Gardens, scrapbooks, etc. And the whole album was tissue paper. I've been doing technique forever. And the whole album was tissue paper. And I had decoupaged and did all these things. And I put glue dots in, and it shipped back in the summer. And the glue dots melted and the whole album was glued together. Oh, no. So now I'm like, I don't even know if they sell them anymore.
Yeah, they still do.
Do they?
Yep.
But I'd say it's a stable thing, right? If it's hot, it's not going to melt. It's just a foam puffy. You can get different heights, like what would you call that? Height, right?
Yep.
Thickness.
Thickness or height. Yep.
So for a lot of my card making friends might use one that's a little thinner because they only want a little dimension, but they still want it to fit in the envelope and whatever postage issues you have. Again, Vicki makes cards and I have never mailed one. So I don't know about postage. So I am not.
If
you were to actually send anybody or use your cards, you might need to consider that. So I will have to figure it out, right, for the one I'm giving away. So let's say normally, I'm not going to lie. I would normally mix 3 different scales. There would be a large, a medium, and a small would be one of the first elements there, right? So when I'm looking at this here, I know I want to leave maybe this space open because I'm going to put journaling strips on here. I need to weight the bottom, and I'm going to put a title. So the next thing I would look for a cluster is something like that. Right? So maybe this page is about ice cream or cupcakes for a birthday party, right? So I would go in and probably that is what I would do. That would be my cluster. And then imagine that I typed out little journaling strips and put them on there. This for 100% sure would be popped up. That no word of a lie. And because it's a flag banner, I would do this and add some dimension too. And it still will fit in your album beautifully, right? So clustering, right, is going to be kind of an icon, a title, a base, a linear element, and a dimensional element. Because what would I finish this with is either stickles in the middle of the flowers or what do you call those things? Enamel dot, right? So that kind of idea. So let's look at our tag. What would we do if we're going to put something on this tag, right? So we could leave that tag where we want to maybe put a photo on it, but even look at like our little, I know Natalie does not like the toucan. I think, is that your nightmare bird, Nat? I'm not sure. But a lot of times, even where I'm layering it, right, would be this I like at the bottom or the top. I would never probably put that in the middle. He could totally go on the top though, right? Because it would be a bird who looks perched in a tree, right? Now, would I cluster a ton on here? Maybe just a couple strips of pattern paper that just kind of go off the side here with like a little flag banner on it. Let's see what we have because I did pull some stuff out. Or like washi tape strips, right? Like we have those washi strips. Because again, it needs to be weighted. I wouldn't have it just floating in space. But the one thing is with this is he's already perched on a branch, right? So he's actually already perched. But I might layer some other flowers behind it too, right? So I'm going to commit. I'm just going to use this on here. Let's just do the things, right? Let's just do the things. So here's my question. Who is out there tonight, today, for my friends that are in Australia, that have issues with clustering, or what are your questions surrounding or that have to do with clustering? Because I know this was a big thing, right? Is that clustering. I'm not sure what to do or how to do it, or for some of these things we were talking about it. I was talking actually with Devin, and I'm like, it's hard because a lot of this stuff is just natural to me. I don't really have to think about it. It's how my brain works. So sometimes when I'm trying to come up with solutions or to help you with some things, sometimes I need, I guess, guidance in where you struggle, right? Like what issue, like where do you struggle with the layering or clustering? Coming up with what to use when it's not one of your collections. That's hard, Jenny. Didn't we just kind of hit a nail on the head right there? Here's what I'd have to say. Well, one, use my collections, right? Because it's done for you. But the other element or thing is you might not there be using just that one collection. Like, so say it's a doodlebug one that you have and you love it, but maybe this one is like a lot of like bugs and you don't have linear elements in it. Then I'd be mixing something that matches from another collection or making your own elements out of mixed media that you layer with it, because the design principles and concepts are going to be the same regardless. So if I just told you scale is going to be one of those things that I want to mix the sizes, right? Because if you put everything on is the same size, one, it gets bulky. Two, you don't have that interest, because in life, if you're looking at a plant, normally all the flowers aren't the same size. You're going to have smaller buds and bigger buds, closed buds, open flowers. The leaves are different sizes. Like balanced design is happening everywhere around you. So sometimes with that, right, Jenny, is I'd be mixing collections or using some washi tape, because you could make flag banners. Like, that's a good idea right there. Washi tape on a piece of cardstock that we make then our own flag banners. Can I have that back?
Yep.
Washi tape. Look it, and it appeared.
Do you need a piece of white?
I'll grab it because I know it's right in this drawer. I love that. What are the other things? I'm missing stuff too because I focused on what Jenny said, and then what were any of the other things?
Finding the right items to put together and for them to match the theme of the page.
Yes. So Karen, when you're doing that, do you mean from different collections? Because really, if you're using one collection, everything is in. So if it's a travel collection, like say Where to Next, it's all going to be travel-y themed. But if you're mixing collections, things that what would help me figure out what goes together is color would be my first thing. I want to match the color palette, pattern, scale of pattern. You can't have all big, bold, like a floral. Can I have that paper right there?
This one.
Yes. And the butterflies even.
Yep.
Right? So now remember, let's talk about these two are really good just to show you right off, right? Mm-hmm. See, scale is the same. I would probably never mix these two papers together. Because again, this is like two female leads that are like fighting behind the scenes. They're both stars of the show. But if I take something like this and mix it, the butterflies stand out, but that green pattern is beautiful on its own. So that design concept, even with clustering, is going to be the same thing. If I'm going to use this big bird, I'm not going to probably add a big butterfly with it. Maybe I could down here, but do you see what I'm saying? Scale wise, I don't want to take away from that. So I'm going to go smaller scale, pattern, color, scale, pattern, color, design elements, regardless of what you're doing, scale, pattern, color, texture, right? Those are big, big things with you. Like when you're doing this kind of stuff. My struggle is just what makes sense and works together. Question: what is meant by grounded? So if I was going to put like just a title on something, right? A title on here. So if you just stuck that on here, do you see how it's kind of floating in space? Like for me, I probably never would on a scrapbook page just put a title on there like that. There would either be a little scallop border I'd put underneath, a piece of washi tape, a strip of pattern paper. So it's not float, it's grounded. When I'm using stamps, adding a little bit of black when I'm stamping on all that color is going to add something that's grounded. Like when you do home decor, one of the rules will be like have one black piece in your room to ground your decor. So not everything again can take center stage. And then even a title like this, right, is not just having it floating in space. You want it to be grounded. I wouldn't like, we'll use Let's Roll. It'll be on here somewhere. Okay. And then we're going to do like kind of a title cluster. Because right, if you're a scrapbooker out there, or even now see, but a card is a whole different thing. Yeah. My title could float in space on a card. I could just stamp a sentiment in the middle. This is not grounded because it's really not my center stage on here is more the, this is a cluster. Mm-hmm. This is a cluster. So if you are like watching for the first time tonight, the technique we did on this one was called stencil masking. So when you look at the background, do you see how some stamps are in the front and some are in the back? We didn't do anything magical. We literally cut out a mask and stamped around it, but it's still a cluster, right? That it's still making sense scale. There are small flowers, there are medium flowers, there are large flowers. Some have dimension. They're popped up on top. Their color changes because if I would have done all of them the exact same color, nothing's really kind of standing out. But I also didn't do it so it's like really bold. It still all subtly works together. And then the other thing is how they're all layered there. They're not in a straight row. They kind of flow across the page, just adding visual interest, right? And then adding something like the gold at the end is just another kind of textural element with a sparkle. But my title can totally be floating in space on a card. But I wouldn't do that on a layout. I never would do that on a layout. On a scrapbook page, my title always is going to be grounded. I don't even, oops, I just throw stuff around. And I cleaned up now, so I don't even have a stack of stencils, layouts around here to prove my point. It's on that box over there. I put it, they are all clustered. Okay. Yeah, this is great opportunity, right? Think shelf on a wall. Yeah, I love it, right? So look at, this is the layout from last week. I put my title on some washi and I subtitle. My subtitles will often be what grounds my title. And this is a little, like, I'm going to tell you, this a little rogue for me, even how this title is. It's a little rogue. But, right, so we have our title. It's in black. It often will be because it's bold. It's going to stand out, but it's not competing with the art or the photos. And then my subtitle is grounding, so it's not floating. And then look at, I popped it up, so I have dimension, and then an element with a little dimension that is adding interest to your title cluster. But this is super simple, right? Here, they're not floating in space. It's grounded on my paper strips. And then a subtitle underneath. I love titles with subtitle. Certain elements are always going to show up. Butterflies, flowers, circles, a repeated pattern that I can repeat in size, scale, color, pattern. And they layer beautifully together. And it's an element for mixed media that is magic, right? I don't have to cut. Not everything has to be mats and squares of pattern paper. So why I love it is they stand alone. I can still see the layer of mixed media underneath. They create visual interest. It's a cluster, but it's not traditionally like when I first started paper crafting, it would have all been pieces of pattern paper that were probably squares or strips. Back in the day, we just did multiple layers and mats of pattern paper. We would have done a big background piece, and how we would have layered is by mixing pattern. Now I mix pattern, scale, the style, but mixed media is the whole background that comes together. Lots of white space. You will see now a lot of the styles that you like with this is you have a lot of that open white space. Back in the day, we did not use a white background. We would have covered it all with pattern paper, right? Which I still will do. Actually, the class that I'm doing, I think in Australia, I used tons of pattern paper on those ones. It just was the jam. It's what I was feeling. So here, look at that. It doesn't change, my friends, like the card. These were just leftovers. So again, I have my little drips that I put on the background. My title is kind of floating in space because it's a card and the rules totally changed. This layout, that whole background was made for me. I just kind of followed the whole thing. Look at, I did a double title there. It's centered, or it's grounded on that circle, right? So, and I love this, is always has been my thing. It's a Vicki thing. Is this, what would you even call these? Like floating clusters almost. Like I do that like floating cluster because I don't like to cover everything, right? So Vanessa, access only will be posted on either Sunday or Monday. I'm saying Monday, it might go up sooner, but I need to get all the elements up on the board. Cascading, yes. I love that, Cheryl. It's a Vicki thing. This has been since when I won Hall of Fame with Creating Keepsakes magazine, which was 2004 or 2006. I have done this. I've done this exact same thing. It is just, I love that for design. So you see what I'm saying? So even on here, where my title is still grounded with the paper strips underneath, and then I hand wrote, there's Kari. I hand wrote Seattle, right? But then it's kind of, this one is almost not grounded, it's clustered. If that makes sense, clustering it in your elements and tying your colors in. So I'm going to cluster with you now, but I wanted that little opportunity to explain. Was that helpful at all? This gives me ideas for my photos for my recent trip to Canada. I love that. That's where I am, Lisa, in Canada. So yes, so there's going to be, for my design is going to be a base, right? So it might be a whole 12 by 12 page is your base. But I like to cluster because I'm going to tell you, I like stuff. I'm not going to lie. I love all of the things. If they would let me do more SKUs, I will do more SKUs, but totally different elements. Like I just said to Kari tonight. What was the, another. So this is an old Vicki Boutin product. This was from, I think, Color Kaleidoscope. And this is my word thick, or the thicker sheets. Well, now my thickers will have lots of elements, but if I could have a fourth thicker, I would do all word strips, because this is like awesome sauce to me. But I can't do this in lieu of these things because I never have enough, because we're doing everything on 12 by 12, 24 by 12, 6 by 8. We need things to fill in the space, right? So I love these elements. They're always going to be, because it's a linear element. It's a subtitle that your title can sit on top in something big and bold and beautiful. And then you can have these little pieces that help you, right, to ground your title. So Evelyn is asking, Kari, I'm going on my first cruise on the Greece trip. Will you be there? I'd love your advice.
Oh, yes.
She will be there.
I'm going on the second one. The mixed media. Is she going on the first week or the second week?
So hopefully that helped. Now Kari will type on here with you, Evelyn. Well, she's on Facebook, so
okay,
you're not seeing that. Kari is on YouTube.
But I'll go on.
So I read it to her, Evelyn, so she wouldn't have been ignoring you. She wouldn't have seen it. Okay, so I grabbed my white piece of cardstock. I'm going to make some flag banners out of washi tape. So what color would I want to use with this guy? Orange would work beautifully if I want something super subtle. We're going to use, I'm going to do the orange and the stripe.
Cool. Your turn now.
Orange and stripe. And I'm going to do 2 little strips on here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put it on the paper, and then I'm going to cut it out with my paper trimmer. I like how you've included words and phrases in your embellishment packs, the ones we cut apart. Me too, Dion, because right, I have limited. I only can have so many things. So, but I would put words and titles in everything. Or I would have ephemera packs with no words and titles, as long as I could have another ephemera pack with words and titles, right? Here we go. I'm just trying to find the start of this. So, like I said, back in the day when I used to do work with kit clubs or would put kits together, I would have never used one collection, if that makes sense. I would have found elements from different collections, different companies, because I never found a collection that had everything I wanted. Does that make sense? It was either too matchy, because you'll notice my collections are not super matchy. They're match, but I will throw like a black and white stripe in with all the rainbow colors, because if it's too matchy, it's not my jam. I like things that make other things pop and layer beautifully together. So back in the day when I would have done this, because I love that Jenny said, like, was it Jenny who said, if I'm not using your collection is when I struggle? So when I had the opportunity to have a collection with my name on it, these are elements that, so I'm really in essence making pattern paper out of washi tape, right? Using the strips. So when I made my own collections, that's why the things I'm super hyper focused on are having elements that work well together. So if you're going to be out shopping for my collection, I don't want you to cherry pick it. I want you to buy all of the things. But I don't want you to feel like I spent all this money and I wasted it, because I don't like it. It's all the same. So I make every element have value. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now I'm going to have like elements that I can layer my little birdie on.
I love that stripe.
Right? It's very pretty. I would wear that in a skirt or a dress, just so you know.
Yes.
I would love that.
Yes, please.
Right? Yes, please. I agree.
Please.
So I'm going to make, right? And these could stick off my tag if I wanted to. Off of the butt of the bird, right? Like a little flag banner, or off the other side. So just to give you kind of an idea, right? So we'll just not cut his tail off. And then the orange one, because I'm not going to lie, that stripe would go underneath, because, so right there, that's too much pattern for me. And it's not going to pop as well under there. But if I layer something that is more tone on tone, like this, and then put that underneath, then they work very harmoniously together. Maybe a Vicki fashion line.
I would love that.
Oh my goodness, I would love that.
Wouldn't that be great?
I would not say no to that. Oh my goodness.
You could have a denim skirt with some flowers along the bottom.
It would be embroidered.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, wouldn't that be gorgeous?
Oh yes, it would. Look at, if I do say so. Yes, it would. So that guy is gonna go there, and then this guy is gonna layer underneath. So now I've picked my main element, and now I'm grounding it and adding some layered pattern. So what will our next element be? Filler. So when I was looking, like, couldn't this be a fun thing? That's going to be a textural element and will be a clustering thing, right? So these two guys could go on there. So see, now he's not floating in space. You could put title, a photo underneath, whatever you want to do. And he's in a tree, so he's up top. And we use washi tape. There's a use for all that washi tape you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it is a little bit different texture than the paper, But I thought, look at on my chipboard. Look at these leaves.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Right? I don't know. And remember, I'm not going to lie. I never trusted glue on this stuff. I'm going to tell you in a year it's going to fall off your page. So we glue everything.
Yep.
But the other thing I do that seems counterintuitive, but it gives me the ability to layer my stuff is I will put this powder on it so I can destickify it. One of these works and one is clogged, but we'll see. That's the clogged one. So I have two. So we'll grab the other one. I destickify it so that I have the ability to layer before I commit. Okay. Do you have to do this? No, but I still would add glue. Do not trust. So, oh, I'm going to love this. One, I love that it is kind of rests the eye with having this kind of just two-tone green, right? So even though I'm going to add like a little, like this is when, Natalie, do you have toucans in where? Ecuador? Because I feel like when you went up the mountain, that maybe you saw toucan Sam. But right, I'm just trying to cluster. I'm going to have to position, right? But my idea is to cluster in with the existing flower, right? I'll probably move these things around, but you get the idea. Oh, maybe both on the bottom. If they don't cover up all my pattern.
I like those.
Right? What are they called? Montserrat. Right behind you too is plug.
Okay.
Right, that kind of idea. So here is a textural layer to my clusters. Oh, I like that. Right. So we have our thing. Now the next thing I'm going to add, because I'm a paper crafter, is a title. I want a title on here. I'm probably going to play with that for a second, but I know I want those elements on here. You have toucans in Ecuador. I love it. Watching on YouTube on my TV and also see on Facebook. Face is 30 seconds to a minute behind, but you can comment on Facebook. You need to design a pattern paper with all your funky earrings. Yeah, I love that. Okay. Yes, I could fabric line with a spoonflower, but the only thing is, right, it's all through American Crafts, so I don't really. The only way that you would see a Vicki Boutin paper line would be if Joanne Fabric or like one of the fabric stores said, hey, we want to turn one paper, only one of my papers. I don't even know what it was. They didn't send it to me. I never got to see it. Aww. Became a fabric. Okay, so now I want a title. So where are spots this title could go? It could go here. Now when I look at it, I feel like my title needs to go right there. I feel like just a tiny little title right there. Because I don't really want to compete. The toucan is really the story on here. Mm-hmm. I don't want a big, huge title. You could put something maybe underneath, but look at this one kind of. We have happiness is here, best experience. So look at the idea here. Now here, like, see, this is clustering magic right here. We're tying some of the black in there. It's still on here. So it is not getting lost on my background. It all works very harmoniously together because nothing's competing. I still have all that beautiful mixed media is on here. And then the other thing I would do is in the center of the flower, I would put dots of stickles. So it's just like some polka dots on that flower. But that really is how I would finish that kind of cluster off. So I haven't glued anything. I'll do it later. But you see what I'm saying? We have something that one ties the colors of my main element in. It grounds so that bird isn't just floating in space up there. I put something that's kind of a textural layer. That's why Vicki does cardstock stickers, chipboard elements, ephemera that could be anything you want it to be, either flat or by layering it with foam dots. And then I put a little title on here because we're paper crafters and usually we have words on there somewhere. And I literally, the only thing I would do now is the bling, which would be some stickles, or if I had some kind of tiny little enamel dots. I'm not going to do that, but you guys see. The only other thing maybe I would add is something like a little paper clip. I might clip it on the edge because I would like that, or punch the hole and put a eyelet, ribbon, twine. Oh, some texture, like if you wrapped some twine and tied a bow on here, wouldn't that be beautiful? Yep. Oh my goodness. But here, let's use the twine Vicki pulls out of her sugar dispenser. Because then now we're talking about, let's elevate the whole thing. The twine is going to elevate this whole thing. Right? Look at that. Do you see what I'm saying? Look at that. Textural element is going to, so I want it double and then enough to tie a bow. I think I'm going to say that will be enough. Kari?
Yes.
Behind you, and I think the second drawer is my big circle punch.
How big?
No, the hole puncher.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to show you another little tricky. So I'm going to take all this off here. And I am going to, I know I want my twine to go about here. So the little thing I like to do, so my twine stays put, is I will just notch I can't see there, I think here. So see that? Can you see that little notch? So now my, I have no ruler, so we got to eyeball it. Vicki's pretty good, and I don't care if it's a little wonk. We're good. Okay. I don't care if it's wonky. But I have to see if it's actually on here, on the card. So let's do it. Let's do the things. So we are going to put the twine on. Do that right? Right, twine. It's going to go in here. Do I have enough? This has to be longer because it's how I tie my things. That side has to be longer. Cheat a little bit. There we go. It is notched in there, so it's going to stay put. What's that?
Do you need a finger?
I'm good. Tie a little bow or whatever you want to do there. Whoopee. And then I will, so that bow is big for me. I just hold my knot and I will pull it and adjust. And then the thing that I would do is I'll cut my bow to size, and then I take a little bit of wet glue. I put it on the end and I just twirl it. But watch, because you got to get your fingers off there before it dries, or you glue your finger to it. But that's how I prevent my ends from fraying, is I just put a little wet glue on them. So now I love that as a textural element, right? And then we could totally have that. I think I would do like that. Let's just do it. I even have glue here. Perfect. Remember I had the cups out?
Yeah. We didn't use those.
I'll do an element on here right now. So I'm going to put that guy right there-ish. Right?
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
The stripe above. Any questions, friends? I love my twine in there. It's just a black and white one too. I don't have, oh, look it, I went backwards. Did you see that almost happen? That I was going to put that above after I said the whole thing about layering it. Rich is home.
He is.
So if you're hungry, I'm sure there's pizza up there.
Guess what?
What?
He took the plants out of the car. Just
Told
like you said.
Did I tell you? So we were at the watering can, and I got some plants because I'm like, I have windows in my new space, and I'm like, I want some plants. So Kari took them out of the car, and I'm like, no, we can leave them in there because, I think it's going to have to layer like that. A little, oh, I like it.
Oh, it looks great.
Okay. So we can put the hole in because maybe we want to put an eyelet. If you go behind, Kari.
Which drawer?
But you have to get my crocodile out. They're all those drawers, same drawers you were in.
Okay.
Second one and the third one will have a container of eyelets.
Oh, there's some.
And a crocodile. You can pick me anything. A copper one would be awesome. So we would find a center-ish. I'm eyeballing all of this, friends. So really, you could find, right, with a ruler, the center. I'm faking it. So can I actually have the crocodile? Because then at least I know I'm using the right size hole. So this is a crocodile. It is an eyelet setter. Right? So I punch the hole that is not in any way centered. And then I will set now with the top part. The hole, the little nose goes in the hole. I think it's in there. And then you press. Oh, it's not in there at all. I don't know. I just wrecked my eyelet, but we'll pretend I didn't. And you set your eyelet. Okay. So I totally wrecked my eyelet because no, it's good. It's set.
Did it go?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
I meant it to be distressed. It's distressed. I'll hand you this one back too because I don't need it anymore. Okay. So let's put this guy on. It's a distressed eyelet because I crushed it. That's how I roll. Okay. And then this, because I don't want to now, it's going to go under, but we want to see our title and it still needs to go straight-ish and I'm covering my eyelid anyway. But you get what I'm saying, right? To do it on live, I might put a little bit more finesse into it if I wasn't having to rush through it, right? My title is totally crooked. So even though it's stuck there, we do not trust the glue. We glue everything with a little bit of wet adhesive. That is in the world of Vicki anyway. I'm going to make my bow smaller because it's trying to be a little bossy, taking up all that space. And boop, boop. Let's just pretend it's working how Vicki wants it to work. Okay. And then I would trim some of that off and then I would clip my ends. Now, do we still want these? I think so. I just like the element, right? But maybe now they won't be. But I'm not going to lie to you. Do you want to know why I wouldn't stick them like that? Because I'd need a third. And this one I find is a little too big, but we don't. We could still. Let's decide. Do we want it? Now my whole concern is that I'm going to cover up all my pattern. I like it. I'm a liar, actually. I love that. And then those will go on there. And there is a cluster, right? So what did we add? Our main focal point, which was Toucan Sam. And then we have grounding elements and mixed pattern. You have mixed texture. You have all that mixed media beautifulness in the background that we didn't overpower by covering all of it up. You have the textural element and the linear element of the bow. You have a title. You have metallic. So it's all the elements that you need to cluster, right? And that you aren't covering everything up. Everything kind of takes up its own space. There is kind of like a rule of thirds because the flower and then we have, like I do a lot of things in threes, right? The other element I want to see if we can make happen is to take the cup and let's see if we can add a ring on the bottom of this because I think that would be really fun to do in the turquoisey color. Okay, so this could work and it might not. So let me do it first if you're playing at home. Okay, so I have wet paint that I just made a turquoise ring that I am going to now do this in turn. Oh my goodness, I know. And then I always do an offset one. Look at that, my friends. There you go. That's what you can do with a cup. Love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what I would do in here? Journaling strips. So this could go on my layout,
Mm-hmm.
right? As an element. It's like a title, kind of mini title element. And then can you imagine just little journaling strips right here? How fun would that be, right? So that's now that lovely turquoise. So I just showed you another use for these watercolors, right? And we could totally have done this too. Look at, not gonna lie, because I would probably add that on there. Oh my goodness, watch this.
That's so damn. You can wipe up your mat. Yes.
And then wipe my mat off. Right? And let me dry. Oh my goodness. These paints though, seriously, do you see that? They're magic. They are magic. Because that totally stands out on there. I've got to dry it. So now I have to tell you the turquoise one out of all of these has the least amount of pigment in the mica. The turquoise is a blue pigment and then it has a silver mica in it. So you will see that it almost looks silver with just a hint of blue. Okay, it's not going to have the same impact of the copper and stuff, right? Vicki, how do you like having an assistant? I love it, but she probably is like, I'm trying to help you and you just do it all yourself anyway, because I'm used to being by myself, right? So, but love that. So one element done, right? Love it. Tag, card, could have been right on a layout. You could have done that whole background and you could have made that bigger, the bigger title. So now, right, the title is our focal point on this one. We're going to pop this up. I have what's happening.
Amazon here. And then Amanda says, can we put in applications to be your assistant on Friday nights? I only live 3 hours away.
Love it. Oh. We're going to laugh though when he comes down and I'm going to say, hi, Sidecar.
Hello.
Want a funny story?
I know about the plants.
Yeah. No, but it's funny because Kari takes them out and I'm like, I'm going to take them over tomorrow so we can just leave them in there. They'll be fine. I said, but I'll guarantee when Rich comes home, he's going to take these plants out of the car.
They're out of place. They don't belong in the car there.
So I laugh because as soon as he took those cars, the plants
like,
right out of there.
Exactly what Vicki said.
So say this title. Now, I'm not going to lie. This title I wouldn't really use because I would want it smaller. Like this fills too much of the space, but we're going to say this is what you have to use, Vicki, use it. So when I'm something on like this, like right off, I'm like, what element can I put underneath, right? If I'm clustering, that isn't going to overpower or take up all of my space. So I want to use an orange butterfly on here, right? I don't want to cover all my stuff. So already I know here, I'm going to put something underneath, but it's going to be kind of asymmetrical design on that. Does that make sense? I'm not going to fill my whole, you could like have a title with all butterflies down here. You totally could, maybe with 3, right? And then a title underneath. But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to cover all my mixed media, right? And I love that background. So you still could do that. If you don't want a butterfly because you're like poo-poo the butterfly, here's another element that I could layer like right away when I'm going to go cluster. Look at this could look awesome too. Something like that, right? Now I'll tell you too, I don't like the direction that's going in, but look at there. And then I could totally cluster a flower.
So Tina said you could turn your card base.
Well, this is like a 6x8 album, but yes, okay. You could. I get what you're saying to show.
Okay. Yep.
Right? Yes. So see, you could do that too. Totally love that idea. He moved things. You just don't even understand how funny that is, though, that I said he's going to totally come home and he's going to move that. And he did. He did not disappoint. So let's stick with, but look at this element is something too that could go underneath if I wanted it to, right? Like that. So now I have my grounded title,
Yep.
right? So that would ground my title, and actually the two colors would work really well together. But off my sticker sheet, let's go with what Vicki does. I need a subtitle. So let's roll discover new places. Let's roll places I would like to visit. Let's roll new things to see and do.
There you go.
Right?
Jennifer said I might cut that title into 2 pieces.
You totally could.
Yeah.
And stack it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So maybe you want space for a photo, go for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say, let's roll new things to see and do. And why do you think Vicki's going to use that one? Because it's going to carry the orange of my butterfly into the bottom, right? So I know for a fact this is my jam. Like, I love that right there, right? So again, chipboard is a dimensional element. I have my little butterfly on here. And even when you're clustering, doesn't mean you have to put a ton of crap on there. Just be a couple elements, right? So things that I would love, like other things that I would use. Imagine, these are all, I don't know. Because I wouldn't put more words on here, to be honest with you. I just wouldn't. But what I was thinking, like a little label, like a little tab label could look really cool on there. Something that's linear, that like the leaf. This is too big. I wouldn't use that, but it could go out the top of the butterfly. To be honest with you, I'd be quite happy with just that. And then maybe twine around the body of the butterfly, or a stitch, or a little strip of washi tape, right? I would probably do underneath there. Let's do. Oh, look, you want to keep with your butterfly theme? You could totally do the butterflies underneath there. I like that. I'm going to go with that. Now, the reason, because it's on black, I don't know how this will stand out, but that's when you can put on your white, right? Some bling on the butterfly for sure, right? Why couldn't you with your stickles totally put elements? The other thing you could do, because it's here, is what about if we took our watercolor that is here already? I'd have a smaller brush, to be honest with you. I would wick the water out, and you totally could go in and add a little bit of metallic, right, to the artwork that's already on here. I love it, because then we're tying in the color we used already. So we'll leave that, let it dry, right? But there's no reason that you don't have to get stickles. You could do this, and then you could put glossy accents on top of it, right? So your layer underneath would be that. Oh, I like it. It's almost like a tiger butterfly now. And then let's see if this guy will stand out on here or not. Oh, I love that actually. On the black is really pretty. Right?
Beautiful washi.
I love it. And then I normally will wrap my washi, because then I know it's not going to lift on the edge, right? So I could have my little butterflies, that little guy stuck on there, right? My let's roll. So I'm stacking. That's another thing with elements. Do you see now as the water's leaving? Can you see the metallic on that? And they're almost textural, because these watercolors are magic, right? And then you have your little element like that. And that's all I would do, because it doesn't need to have 10 million things. So stacking is another thing I will do with clustering, right? And then I have that little piece, that element, my little subtitle, and it feels grounded. It's not floating in space. And I love that. I would leave that just as is. You could, if you want to add more, right? My flag banners that I love would go in this corner. But I'll leave that. And this could be a card, right? If you think everything's scaled smaller and that's what you did with your mixed media, and then say this just says celebrate, that could totally be an element for a card front too, right? And then what else? Anything else that you, here's another thing before, this is going to be the last thing before I go. Because tonight was more, is it necessarily a finished project? No, it's lesson. Because there's value too in the learning. So I know for some of you guys, you want to see, like, let's make a layout, right? I might cut that title into 2 pieces. You totally could, right? And so say if we, let's just do it. It's not glued down. So my element or issue is like, do you cut it to, well, the R will cut straight, and then we could cut into the S, right? So let's fake it like it is a die cut. There, okay? There, let's, so how would I do it if I cut it? It would stack like this then. Let's, and roll. Like somehow I would stack it to where that, oh, now I'll tell you something. Look how cute that is. But I want something here now, right? So now you totally could put like an element. This is too big. But imagine that it would be half the size of that. And I would probably fill it in with a flower. If that makes sense, right? How fun would that be? Like you'd play with it, right? But you totally could cut it and stack it, right? Like, not gonna lie, I'm showing you guys all these things. I will just keep those backgrounds and be quite happy with them the way they are. But that gives you an idea, right? Because I love these as recipe cards too. So this one we were going to use as if it was a card. Oh my goodness, look when this dried.
So pretty.
I love that one. It's going to stay. I'm going to gift it to my friend Kari. She's going to take that home. You guys would probably die if you were here because half the stuff I would just throw in the garbage when I'm done. Just because I have stuff everywhere. So that's what we talked about, right? Is doing these and then just giving them away. I should start doing every Friday night, whatever I make. People leave a comment in the regular comment section, and we have to just do it in YouTube because it's one spot. It's easier for me. And then I just give it away because then somebody else has it and they can do something fun with it, right?
I love that idea.
So let's say with this, there's stuff everywhere, right? What do we have? We have our handmade stuff too, things, right? From our drawing class. We have stamped. Oh, look at some Timmy's. Tim Holtz stamped butterflies. So if I'm going to put this now, right, on a card base, and I want to cluster some butterflies and a sentiment. Here's the magic too with cards when you do mixed media on it. They're, I think, the simplest things to put together. Anything that you have that is repeated. I'm just trying to find a color maybe I like better. See, remember these with the dies?
Yep.
From our mixed media. Seriously, right? I love that. Contain funk.
Yep.
Right? Contain funk. To take it, you guys will remember. You guys love these.
Or those are the trees?
Yes.
Yes.
And this, we did that whole background. And then hand drew the flowers. Actually, those will look.
Those were the fluorescent.
Yes, with the fluorescent.
Yep.
So let's see. Because my card base, right, could be this and a butterfly maybe. Vicki is running out of the steam. Oh, my fall. Look at that too. Oh, maybe those even better. Because it is that time of year, right?
It is.
So these are all from things that we've done, right? I don't know if this one was this a Vicki Boutin cut file?
I think so.
I think these are from a Vicki Boutin cut file
Mm-hmm.
with a mixed media background.
Yeah.
So if you guys are watching and you're like, okay, I like this mixed media. What the heck am I going to do with it? This is magic if you're a cleaner crafter. That's what's going to go cluster. So we have different colors, different scales, and we can just layer them like they are falling leaves. Right? But I'm not going to cover the blue. Let's flip that. And then my card could be Dimension. I will often do threes of things, right? Threes of things. See you later, Cindy. If you want to share, you could put random pieces in order we place, and this way you wouldn't have to pay the extra postage to ship. I'm tired. What did that mean?
So Joyce places an order, and you
Yes.
can just put something you created in her box.
I love that
As a
idea
surprise.
too. I
And
could
you
just
wouldn't
have a
have to-
whole thing of
and
them,
then
right?
you wouldn't have to worry about
The postage.
the
or
postage
it's
for
just in a
your
box.
Exactly.
That's a great idea. Right?
It is.
So I think, though, I don't know if I like it clustered. But if one maybe stands alone, right? I don't know. You know, I said to Kari, I can't make this one too long because I was up till 3 and then back up at 7:30.
Mm.
So what ends up happening by this time of day? And I said, oh, Kari, we're going to sit down here and do these things. You know, I'm not going to be, it's going to be pretty much, let's go upstairs, have a glass of wine, a little bite of pizza, and a Betty Bice.
Exactly. Oh, I love that.
There. Oh, I like that. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That works with me. So now you might be looking and going, ooh, with the blue in the background, I don't understand. So what will we do? We need to tie the blue in. So what will end up happening is my sentiment will be in blue. Do you want funny? So Kari comes. Guess who fell in love with Kari? Simon, my new kitty cat. Kari was walking around holding Simon like a baby, right? He was a little baby doll, just hanging out. Have a hot toddy. That'd be nice, right? Sorry, I'm late. Who is there with you tonight? Kari Kaplan is in the house. So Kari, when did you find me, Car? Was it COVID?
COVID. Yep.
And and then what was it, Europe?
Yes, the first time in Europe.
So, and then Kari came on my European cruise and we cried. She made me cry. What are you laughing at? What happened?
Teresa said Kari, the cat keeper.
The cat keeper. Yeah. Or cat whisperer. Because that cat he's a good cat, a nice cat. I have never seen anybody carry that cat around for as long as she did. And he just slept on her like a little baby, little blue-eyed baby. So yes, Kari and I met for the first time in real life. See, if this one was a little bit smaller, would be perfect for me.
Mm.
But because it's the same size of that guy, it makes me struggle. But I did like whatever I had done. I don't mind that. Commit. Right? So there's my card front. Are these like floating little leaves, which I love. They're dimension. They're cut out of foundations paper. So they are literally, they're magic.
Yeah.
Just out of distress ink, I believe those were. So now things like in a perfect world, if this was smaller, to me would be beautiful. And then put my sentiment on it. That's way too big. So we have today could work, but I need my sentiment, I feel needs to go right there. And it needs to tie that blue in. Or we'll find another element to tie the blue in. But I'm just going to put a sentiment on here. And really, you know what I would do too? Is I have photo corners. Remember back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put gold metallic photo corners on this. And that's how it's going to be mounted onto my card front. So where's that other card, even though we're not using that? How do I lose things when I'm just sitting here and I didn't even get up once? Oh, and now I just threw stuff on the floor. Because I just want you to see it underneath.
Nope.
Nope. So imagine that is on a card base, right? And now we just need a little sentiment. But I wonder, do we have anything on here that could work as a sentiment? Happiness is here. Could that be a sentiment? Good things. Could that be a sentiment? Is good things like a card sentiment? Remember, we're talking about the Vicki non-card maker, because I'll just make stuff up. Take a deep breath. That could be a card sentiment, couldn't it? Right? If I'm sending this to somebody, oh, I love that. For just kind of, what do you say that? Not affirmation. What is it? Encouragement?
Yep.
Card for encouragement. So let's say we're going to do that. And then I'm going to tell you how I'm going to tie the blue in is I'm going to see if I have a piece of washi with that color on it. What would be magical if it had all those colors on it? My eyeballs itchy.
Oh, there's your card front.
I found it. I didn't. Carrie found it. Okay, let's find another color. But look it. I love that. Take a deep breath. I actually like that. The only other thing I would be adding on here is we need a dimensional element, like something on the leaves. Water droplets. Wouldn't that be fun? So if we put little drops of glossy accents, so it looks like dew on there, would be really fun. And if I could find a piece of, what's this stuff called? Baker's twine with that blue on it. Wouldn't that be fun? Notch, notch, tie a bow.
This one?
Oh, yes. Want to cut me a piece, Carl?
Yeah, how long do you want?
A little bit longer that. Oh my goodness. So what's hilarious is I have one of those. Look at this, my friends. Perfect. Do you see that magic just happen? So I will show you up closer in a minute. So I said, I need this color of Baker's twine. And Kari, I have a board over here, the IKEA, I forget what it's called. The IKEA, what is that board called?
It's like a pegboard, isn't it?
Yes, Scadus, whatever.
Like that, yeah.
So she's like, how about this? And it's literally up on there. That is hilarious. This color work? Yes, as a matter of fact, it will beautifully. Scadis. I don't know how you would say that in the Swedish. Is that what they are? Is that what IKEA is? Sweden? Swedish? Danish? Dutch? So how do you say that? Skadis.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question.
There.
Or Swedish. That's a good question now. You got me thinking. I think it is Sweden.
Is it?
Yeah. Yes.
I thought it was Swedish.
Yes. You are
Right?
correct.
We need pics of Simon. Yeah, there's some good ones. That cat is a crazy dude. See, look at there. We did a little textural element, right? And then we can just fit in our take a deep breath. And there can be like I'll be playing with that because I'm not gonna lie. I want the bow to come under it. Like that.
Yep, Swedish. Yes, yes, yes.
Still laughing that Rich took the plants out. I know him.
Oh.
See, remember I told you because he's sitting right above me on the computer. There we go. So that's going to be my card front. And that literally was just cleaning off and using the rest of that metallic paint and then just stamped on it. So that will be, I'm going to do this one again, a giveaway. When this video is done, leave a comment on the YouTubes, in the regular comment section. So below the video, like when they do that, below the video. And I'll make it prettier. And you know, when I send these things out, I'm going to say send it in a card. It's going to go in a bigger envelope and you're going to get some other element in there. You know what? I'm feeling super generous. Guess what's going to go with the card?
Ooh.
That's what the giveaway is going to be. I'm going to go and pick a winner for the last card, this one. And there'll be some kind of surprise that goes with this. So this is a giveaway. I'll go pick a winner. It's going to be posted tonight. You need to contact me at Vicki with an I, VICKI BOUTIN kits@gmail.com. So when I post your name in the description of the video for this card, I'm going to go post it as soon as I'm off here from this live. I'll go post it. And then in a week's time, next Friday, we'll pick a winner again. Is next Friday? Yes. I'm here.
Yep.
Next Friday, post a winner, and you're going to win the card that I will complete and a set of the metallic watercolors. So that will be fun, right? VickiBoutinKits@gmail.com on YouTube, not on Facebook. So lots of fun tonight, friends. Any questions, right? Any questions? I want to know if there's anything that wasn't clear or you're not too sure about that I can help you with. If that helps a little bit with the whole concept behind using your embellishments to cluster. Like I said, friends, scale. You want to vary the size of your elements. Texture, put something on there that's textural. I always will finish, like, see these little gold conchabanchas,
Yeah, I don't
whatever,
know how to say that either.
cabacons, cobacocos. Like that to me is a textural sparkle element. Capicon, what, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how to say those.
There's a C and there's an A and there's a B and a C and an O and
Yeah.
a something in there,
The
right?
gold
Will you have a
balls.
Christmas set this year? I already do. Do you mean a Christmas set of collection? It's called Peppermint Kisses, if that's what you mean. It's out there. Happy anniversary, Joyce.
Oh, wow, Joyce.
45 years. That is
Wow.
exceptional, right? So don't leave you, and just so you know, don't leave your comment in the live comments, because when I'm done, I don't go back and check those. You want to leave it as soon as this is no longer live in the section below. What is the date today?
Today is the 28th.
Today is September 28th, 2024.
No,
29th. I'm going to select a winner a week from today. Next Friday, when I finish off my live, I'll go in and pick a winner for this card with the metallic paste. I'm going to go post the winner. So you still have a second. If you go and leave your comment now on my last live, I'm going to be sending this card out to the lucky winner with a gift. I'll throw something in there that will fit in an envelope. Okay. Maybe some stencils with it or something. Maybe that stamp set I'll put in there. We'll figure it out. Right. So yay. I am September 29th. Thank you. Hello, Kristen. There's Kristen.
I know. I said hello.
I am going to flip it around.
She was
Will you be doing Christmas videos with that collection? I sure will. That there are kits left on VickiBoutin.com. There, I think I have about 10 Christmas kits left, and then they're done. I will have no more. So if you go to VickiBoutin.com, there will be access only. And then for the month of December, don't forget, friends. I'm going to flip the camera and talk to you for a second. Here we go. Ready? Doo-doo. Hi. There's Miffy still here covering up my lunch. I will be doing for the whole month of December. So you guys know, there'll be a couple more Friday night lives, and then I'm gone to New Zealand and Australia for over 6 weeks ish. So I'm going to try to do some travel lives or some videos while I'm away, like things I want to talk to you about, like my experience in Australia, what I'm doing in New Zealand. I just have to figure it out with time differences. So maybe it'll be like Saturday mornings or something. I will do that. But in December, I always do a whole week of, it's a week, right? It's usually a week, and sometimes during of Christmas creating. So it's my gift to you at the end of the year. I am going to use this year. And I kept saying, you're going to have lots left from the kit. You're not. I used it all. There's nothing left. There's left. Do you know I already made the bonus layouts? I made all the things. So things that you're going to need if you want to craft, because now you have time. You could have time to collect them. Stuff's on sale. Do those things. I'm going to use a 6x8 pad from Peppermint Kisses. I'm going to use the card set. I am going to use ephemera packs. So you could buy all 3 ephemera packs. We're going to mix those up. And then anything else you have from past Christmas collections, if you want to use some stuff from Simple Stories, whatever. But that's pretty much the main thing that I'm going to kind of make a kit at the beginning of December, and then we'll be using inks and stencils and stamps and stuff. And we're going to make for sure some card mini books, because I think that's a great thing that you could gift. You could make those and give it to your mom with pictures from the holidays, your sister, your sister-in-law, your friend, do them for your kids. So I think a card mini book will be really fun. There'll be flips, flaps, and elements and tags in it. And then I don't remember, we did the tag thing. That was fun, wasn't it? So maybe a smaller scale of that. So last year, if you look through my videos, I did this whole thing where it was a lot of clustering. They were just elements, and then we put it in. I had this like little sled. So start looking at your dollar spot, like something for a neat container you could put tags in. And then we're going to do a smaller element, but we can use for some of the card bases that we cut and use pieces off of it. So that just kind of gives you an idea of, if you aren't doing Peppermint Kisses, but you want to join in on, it's free. I don't charge you anything. I just come and make with you. We're going to do the card tag book and then some other things. So just kind of gives you an idea, right? 22 tags. And it won't be that big this year, because if I'm going to do the tag book, we'll do like at least some tags. That's an idea. A tag flip book.
Ooh, that would be fun.
So we're going to make 2 different paper crafting projects. We're going to make a card book, because that'll probably be like 2 of our lives. That'll take a while. We'll do bases for it, mix some mixed media in it, and we'll build the album. And then we'll come back the next day and we'll embellish the album. And I might even print photos. Like it might be like literally a finished project. And then we will take whatever we have left and we'll make a tag flip book too. Right? I love that, right? I love that. I think that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So we change the version. So that's what you need. You want to get the 6x8 pad. You want to have a washi to any of the things, elements, but you for sure need things to do titles and elements, right? The stencils. So it'll be good. Like, so if you already have the kit, you did, because you're doing the weekend with me, you can use your stamps, you can use your stencils, you can use your washi if you bought extra. So it'll be good. So that's what we're going to do. Those 2 things. It's going to be so much fun. So as always, guys, I'm on here, not too bad, right? I stayed on here, an hour longer?
No, it's fine.
It's not bad, good. Right? So thank you with our special guest. Remember, we said, so she's the sparkle tonight. Right? The special celebrity guest. So she is definitely the sparkle with the watercolor. Had so much fun. I will be here next Friday. I have no clue what I'm doing yet. I have to think about it. If you have any requests or suggestions, make sure, if you haven't joined already, on Facebook, on the Vicki Boutin Creative Community page, look at, guys, I'm always looking for ideas. So if there's something you'd love to see or do, just tell me. And if I can make it happen, I'll make it happen for you. But have a wonderful weekend, my friends, and I will see you here next Friday at 8 p.m. Leave a comment in the regular comment section for a chance to win the card. I will finish, because it's not finished tonight, and a set of the Cosmic Watercolor. And if you haven't already, make sure you go back to the other live if you still want a chance, because I'm going to pick within the next 15 minutes a winner and post it in the description of who the winner is. And then you have to contact me at vickyboutinKits@gmail.com. So I have a mailing address so I can actually send you the thing. So thank you, friends. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys later.